I wish I could blur it out. Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to another edition of Community Connections Talk Show, where we are breaking barriers, we are building bridges, and we are sharing resources. We are really excited to be able to bring this program to you every week now. Again, my name is Felicia Hopkins. I am the founder of Community Connections Foundation, and I have a wonderful team that works along with us to make sure that we are making Harford County and the great things that go on a little bit more accessible to those that might not know or familiar with what goes on around this wonderful county, Harford County, where you work, live, and play. So, today, if you didn't see the title, we're working on another platform. So give us some grace today because we are working on another platform. And I don't know if everyone could see not only the time that we're going to be coming on, but what we're going to be talking about today. And most of you know that I work with the Harford County Health Department, the Minority Health Program, and we go around the community monthly doing wonderful things. And the theme for this month is Let's Spill the Tea. Learning the benefits of the medicinal effects of herbal teas and journaling. It is the winter months. We want you to be still make sure that you are taking care of yourself, taking care of your health, and making sure that your family's good. And what better way to do that than learn and drink some herbal teas? So before I go into that today and bring on our special guest, I'm going to give you guys some community announcements. I'm thankful for the responses that I'm getting from doing the community announcements of people that are showing up in person. Starting out on January 11th, we had our first community prayer breakfast. And since the weather was kind of iffy in the morning, we did it on Zoom. We had a Zoom link and we spread the word. Well, we had about 20 people show up on that Zoom link to pray for our community. We pray for our families, elected officials, the Board of Education, and we also had special prayer requests. That's something that we want to keep going in the community. The next one will be February 8th, and the time and date will be announced this week as well. Along with, by way of announcement, it was such a busy and beautiful Saturday. We were at the Martin Luther King program that was sponsored by the Universal Unitarian Church in Churchville by my good community friend Marla Polly Moss. And you can go on my page, Felicia Grant Hopkins, and look at some of the pictures. She integrated the Reconstruction era in such a beautiful way with our young people and allowed them to be able to be a part of history from the 1800s. It was phenomenal. It was very well attended. Thank you so much, Marla, for all that you do for the community, especially during Martin Luther King holiday and our celebration of him and his life. There's some other announcements that I'm going to bring some pictures online, but we went and we were with Patrice Bullock with Bailey's Heart and Soul. And if you don't know who Patrice Bullock is with Bailey's Heart and Soul, unfortunately, her son died a few years back after a track race. And what could have happened that they don't know, but it wasn't available at that time. They didn't know whether an AED would have actually saved his life. So his mom, being a nurse, went on a campaign from that time on, making sure that our sports clinics, our high schools, have AEDs available to them, not just in a nurse's office, but out on the field, and training those of us that are lay people how to use an AED and how important it is. So I'm going to make an announcement about that later on, as far as how you can get your child screened for a heart screening. So, Faith, if you help me out here, I'm going to start making some of the announcements. Again, there are so many wonderful things going on in the community. One of these is from my very good friend, and she's also the executive program manager for Community Connections Foundation. She has teamed up with Terrell Booth and the Booth brothers, and every Saturday, no, excuse me, she's going to get me, every first Saturday of the month, they are having um, a brunch from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And this is the one at 705 South Philadelphia Boulevard. Some of you all might not be familiar. It used to be a bank, but they have bought it and made it an event center. I attended one that was in the evening, and I'm gonna tell you something. It was fantastic. The music was fantastic. The company was fantastic. I would attend. The price there is $35. And if you are getting mimosas with your brunch, that is $45. It is worth it. The music is fantastic. And I would go and have a great time. No excuse to stay home. Just come on out. The next one will be February 1st, um, right there at 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So spend actually your whole day with them, actually. So I think that's great. It was a great time. We had a great time when I was there. And also, I'm going to make some more announcements. Faith, if you can help me tee up the next announcement. There we go. Here we are back to the Hartford County Health Department Minority Health Program. This is something that's been going on since 2021. We are at 3 locations right now, up and down the Route 40 corridor. So we go to Edgewood, which is Windsor Valley. We are at Somerset Manor and Havre de Grace. And we're also at another location in Edgewood, that is the Village at Lakeview. So it snowed on January 7th when we were going to go to Windsor Valley. But guess what, y'all? You will have an opportunity to join us on tomorrow at 2 o'clock at Windsor Valley. The address is on there, 570 Meadowood Court. If you're looking at the ticker at the bottom, you will be able to join us in person. And although we're going to talk about Let's Spill the Tea today, because I felt as though it was just that important, when you come in person, not only are you going to get this information about the medicinal effects of herbal teas, but you will have a chance to win. The first 10 people that arrive will get a teacup, and it's like a tea mug. And you will also get to sample all the teas that you're going to hear about tonight. And you have a chance to win a nice little winter pack when you play a game of Kahoot with us on at the end of our program. So we'll talk about the resources and things that are going on health-wise, but we will also make sure that you walk away with the tea mug and some samples of the tea. So you really want to come in person, okay? And I have more announcements, but believe me, you want to stay on board to listen to Dr. Halstead later on in this broadcast talk about the medicinal effects of herbal tea. You really don't want to miss it. So, okay, so in February, we're going to do the healing plate with Chef Catherine Brown at those 3 locations. Listen, if you have a church or you're attending church and you would like us to come out, maybe after church on Sundays, you might want us to come out and do one of these programs. Reach out to me, reach out to Faith and we will see if we can make that happen based on the titles that you see here. So we got Let's Spill the Tea, the Healing Plate, we've got the Smoothie Sipping Plate. Reach out to me and we can see how we can make that happen to come and bring these programs right to where you are. And also, thank you for that. And you can find these flyers also on the Hartford County Health page. Okay, thank you so much, Faith. And also, next, listen, this organization that I'm going to talk about right now briefly is very near and dear to my heart. Rachel Pennison and her entire team in Aberdeen, um, not only do they provide help with harm reduction for those that are trying to recover or wanting to get help with addiction, they walk the streets. They are at motels. They are at hotels. They are at on the Route 40 corridor, walking it up and down with their team, with people that are most of them have recovered from an addiction. And they are having a fundraiser January 24th. It's called Voices of Hope Rock and Roll for Recovery 2025. And that's going to be at the Falston Barrel House. All of my people out there that you have a community-based organization or you are looking to be able to support a program that's doing great work for those that are addicted. And I know there's someone out there, each one of us know whether a family member or a friend or somebody battling addiction. And so please come out and support them on January 24th. There's time to be able to participate and buy a ticket. So, next on our list, listen, I have been in talks with many persons and groups around Harford County wanting to do mentorships with our young men. I've encountered those that have mentorships for our young men on the Route 40 corridor in high schools, and this is one of them. This is Guide Right Youth Development Program, and it's being sponsored by the Aberdeen Alumni Maryland chapter of Kappa Alpha Kappa Alpha Phi Sci-Fi Fraternity. I am so sorry. I know Dr. Sampson would get me if I didn't say this right, but they are going to be doing a mentoring program, a monthly interactive mentoring program for young men. This is going to be February through July, February of this month, February next month, every second Saturday of the month, starting in February to July. Please forgive me. And then the time is from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. An RSVP is required. I will put this on my page so you guys can kind of see it. Dr. Mark Brown is the one that is heading this off. They're going to be doing youth development, cultural experiences, monthly interactive sessions. If you have a young man in this age group, parents, I don't want you to keep complaining about, I don't know where to send my young man. I need a mentor for my son. I've heard that over the years, and we have connected them with good people. This is one of those programs. I've met these gentlemen. They came to our youth symposium early this year, and they participated, and they were fantastic. So please look them up and sign your sons up. Let's see, what do we have next? Oh, wow, this one is very special and dear to my heart. Last year, one of our community friends, her name is Berlin Valentine, she did a mothers to be a baby shower, like a community baby shower. It was very well intended. She did a fantastic job, and it is back again. Here we are. This is join us for our second annual community baby shower hosted by SB Enterprise and Cares Community Inc. and other wonderful businesses. Theme Mothers to Be. The date is March 22nd. The location and time will be provided upon registration. We're celebrating the amazing journey of motherhood with a day filled with food, games, music, resources, and much more. This exclusive event is open to 25 mothers. So if you are interested, or you are expecting, or you have already have a young one, register, because they're only serving 25 mothers, and that includes their plus one. So be sure to register early to secure your spot. Now, we're going to put the registration link in some on Community Connections page underneath this flyer, because we really want you to be able to come out there and join us, okay? And oh, she's saying, okay, so for community partners, only 10 slots left for community partners, meaning community-based organizations and vendors. So I think that is fantastic. She's doing such a great job out here. Please look her up. Please support, especially if you have something to offer some of our young moms or mothers out here to be. Okay, what is up next? It is, okay, now listen, y'all. We already know about the link buses, okay? We know, we've all had some questions about, not just the fact that they are available, but sometimes it's not as efficient as we need for it to be, okay? Well, I don't want us to sit back and not participate. There's a public hearing that is going to happen Tuesday, January 21st at 6:30 to from 6:30 to 7:30 at the Edgewood Senior Activity Center. That is across from the shopping center, like right next to Truist Bank. So right next to Truist Bank, there is an Edgewood Senior. There's a building right there. That's where the Edgewood Senior Activity Center is. And then the other one is Thursday, January 23rd at the McFall Activity Center. There is a link for you to sign up to get there. Okay, this is a public hearing. They want to hear from you. Okay, now listen, if you don't know the address to any of these places, we can put the address in the link, but you can also Google this. If you're looking at me on the phone, on your phone or your laptop, then you can put in Google and you can go in and find out about how to lend your voice to this discussion. What you have to say, it really does matter. So there's a public hearing. Okay, what is next on our flyer agenda? Okay, yes. Bible and boxing aerobics. Now, come on now. This is fantastic. We talked to Jerome Featherstone on last week, and he told us all about how he got started with the fact that he wanted to do Bible and boxing aerobics. He didn't start January 7th because of the weather, but he is starting tomorrow evening, which is January 14th. You can still sign up. There is a fee to attend the 10 session program. He did say that once you register, he's going to send you a link with some questions to learn more about your health. I'm taking care of my health. I want the community and us as a people to take care of our health. However it is that health looks like to you, please do it and sign up. There's the information there. You'll also find these flyers on our page and the next flyer. Okay, listen again. This is Health and Public Health here. Another opportunity for you to get in where you fit in. Now, this is Cardio Vixens. Now, these young ladies are amazing. They do mixed fit to hip hop music and all types of fun ways to do aerobics. It's like a higher level of aerobics, but they work at your pace. Okay, it is just $7. It's on Fridays from 6 to 7 an hour at Deanna's Workout World, and that's 3709 Pulaski Highway, Suite 1, Abingdon, Maryland 21009. Listen, they have their cash up there. It is just $7. You can drop in and be there an hour and work out and get yourself healthy. And you'll be around a community of great women and great women and men. I think that they have women and men there too. It's not just limited to women. Okay. So our next flyer. Yes, my beautiful Miss Catherine Brown. She is taking this healing plate on the road. She did it for us last year, and we have her back this year, and it's starting to catch on in other areas. So we have Virtuous Occasions, which is Miss Rose O'Neill. She is doing a women's symposium in the month of April. So she's bringing Chef Brown out to do the healing plate to help raise funds for this event. But I'm telling you, once you get there, Chef Brown is going to introduce the healing plate. And I know that she's going to serve a sample dish for you, a healthy meal. And she's going to talk about the whole body, the whole complex of the body and eating. And so she created this healing plate. It's $35 a person to go to this particular event on Saturday, January 25th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So that's later on in the afternoon. I think you guys can make it. Please support her. Next, okay, for those of you that are looking for employment, ShopRite is hiring. Listen, this Saturday, January 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., you can go in for a job interview. Of course, this flyer is going to be on our page. This link is here to apply in person or apply online. Those of you that are looking for a job with a great supermarket, ShopRite. And this right here is near and dear to my heart. The Generational Health Symposium. It's going to be hosted at Ames United Methodist Church with Dr. Marlon Tillman. And the hosts are the Heralds, Harold, Dr. Roche, and Joyce Harold are the ones that are taking the charge on making sure that we keep our health at the forefront of everything that we do. This is going to be at 11 a.m. And I'm excited about it because of the fact that he wrote a book called Dare to Be Well. And if you haven't read the book, you can get it on Amazon, but you can also get it there at the symposium. He has a great group of people that are going to be there, going to talk about health and keeping your body healthy. I have come across over the years some great doctors that are right here in Harford County. And I'm so thankful and honored to know all of them and be able to reach out to all of them. And so I'm going to be the MC on that day as well. So you really don't want to miss it. And some others that you might not know and be familiar with will be there in that building. So, yes, please go out there. It is January 25th at 11 a.m. Please, it is absolutely free. And I think that once you get there, and I know that once you get there, you're going to be very well informed. What is next? All right. Listen, if you want to promote your resources with us, there is a QR code up at the top there. Send me your announcements. We're only looking to go up from here. This is just scratching the surface of what we plan to do with this platform. And you want to get in on the ground floor of what we're doing with Community Connections Foundations, where we are breaking barriers, building bridges, and sharing resources. So if you have an announcement that you'd like to make, we make announcements every Monday, and it won't usually be this late. It was just a day that we had some unforeseen circumstances that have us on later, but please send us your announcements so we can make the announcements. And better yet, we want you to come on and talk to us about why we should even attend your program, which we already know is going to be good, but we want people to know more about who you are. So please come out and send us your flyers. And also, if you like, we would love to have you on. So those are our community announcements for right now. And again, to shift gears, I am super excited to bring on my special guest for tonight. Again, as I just stated, I know so many great doctors out here. They're spread all over Harford County, especially for us in the Black and Brown community. But all of our doctors are doctors for all. But it's really important when we see someone that looks like us to be able to share with us culturally. And over the years, I have known Dr. Halstead for I'm going to say over 20 years now. And every time I hear Dr. Halstead present, I learn something new. And so even though we're doing Let's Spill the Tea in person, I wanted to bring him on today because I needed you to hear what we have been learning over the years and the last couple of weeks from Dr. Philip Halstead. So I'm going to let him tell a little bit about himself, and we're going to get started with this great conversation. Hello, Dr. Halstead. How are you?
Hi, Felicia. Great to be here. Thank you for having me. And I just wanted to
Absolutely.
pass, I just wanted to pass on that I am really indebted to you and all the work that you've done for the community, you and your team, as far as bringing health resources to the forefront. Because a lot of things that we really need to take advantage of, or maybe things that we don't know about, but you're bridging that gap and you're providing that information. So I really appreciate you for doing that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dr. Halstead. And we appreciate you. We appreciate that. We're just honored that we know you.
Yeah.
And you always, you never turn us down every time we ask you. And you blow our minds every time we speak. So here we are.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm grateful to be here. And just a little bit about myself. I was an integrative medicine physician, meaning I combined both regular medicine and integrative medicine for 30 plus years in Harford County, and transitioned from regular medical practice to holistic health coaching about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And since then, still just bringing health to the community, but in a different way, but still the same message, just imparting information to people that they can use. Okay. Because knowledge is power. And, the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So when we are able to bring information like we're going to provide here tonight for people, it definitely helps make a positive impact on their health. So I'm just grateful to be in a position to be able to do that. So let's go ahead and get started. The theme for today is talking about herbal teas, in particular, the medicinal effects of the health benefits that can be derived from herbal tea. And in most people's kitchen, you can go in and find at least one box of herbal tea in their cabinet. Okay, it's a very common thing that people have. People like to drink it. But I think it's important to know what these teas do and how they do it. And that can kind of give you just a better understanding of why it is that you drink these teas, not just because they taste good, but because they're good for you. Okay. Herbal teas are a little bit different from black teas like Lipton and so forth, in that those teas like Lipton and black teas, green teas, they're made from the same sort of leaf, the same type of leaf, and they're just treated differently in the way that they're processed. And that's what makes them different, makes black tea, green tea, and so forth. Herbal teas are made actually from the actual herbs that they are. They're made from the flowers of that herb, the leaves of it, the spices, the flowers. So they're actually all very unique in their composition. And as part of that uniqueness, they have unique functions. And that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about. In general, herbal teas can do a lot of things. And that's one thing you find with natural remedies or natural treatments for things, is that one thing can do many things, as opposed to, pharmaceutical drugs. They may have one or two purposes and that's it. But when you deal with natural things, you can cover a lot of ground with just a few herbs or a few supplements. Basically, herbal teas do a lot of things, like they're antioxidant. We'll talk about what antioxidants are. They're anti-inflammatory. They take out inflammation out of the body, because a lot of diseases nowadays are linked to inflammation. Things like not only just arthritis, but things even like heart disease, strokes. These things are related to inflammation of blood vessels. They also work with digestion, depending on the type of herb. And we'll talk about which ones are good for that. But things like nausea, indigestion, irritable bowel syndrome, these sorts of things can be helped with herbal teas. Now, granted, nothing replaces the advice of your physician. And if they deem that you need medications, then that's fine. But in many cases, a lot of times conditions are so mild that a lot of times they'll respond to mild treatments like herbal teas, safe treatments. They're also good for heart issues, maintaining heart health, and also keeping blood pressure down. They help to boost the immune system, and they also are good for sleep as well, to help people relax. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about 10 different specific types of teas, what they do, and then we'll kind of get into some specific kind of questions that a lot of people have, like, what is an antioxidant, or even how can you give herbal teas to children? We talk about herbal teas in light of adults, but nobody ever talks about how you give them to children. Are they safe for children, and what you can give? So we're going to talk about that tonight. So the first tea I kind of specifically want to talk about was a really popular one called chamomile. Okay, people drink chamomile a lot because it helps with liver issues, but it's also primarily a sleep aid. It's also an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant. But I think it has its claim to fame by helping people get to sleep. So a lot of times people will drink chamomile tea before bedtime to help them to kind of relax and get a good night's sleep. So chamomile is very good for sleep. Another very popular herbal tea is peppermint. Okay, peppermint is useful for digestion, nausea, abdominal pain, irritable bowel syndrome. So it has this kind of main effects in the GI tract. Okay, but it also surprisingly has anti-cancer, antibacterial, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory benefits as well. So it does a lot of things. Again, you get one tea that can do a myriad of things. Okay, that's one of the beauties of herbal teas, that you get a lot of different benefits. Another tea is ginger. Ginger is very popular because it's very good for nausea. Okay, especially like nausea for people who are pregnant, because a lot of times you can't take a lot of different types of medicines when you're pregnant. But something like ginger tea, very good for morning sickness. Okay, or people who have nausea from chemotherapy or having had surgery. And they get nauseated from the treatment or from the medications that they're taking, they can take ginger to try to calm that nausea down. So ginger is very good for that as well. Hibiscus is a very good tea. I actually got introduced to that when my wife and I took a trip over to Egypt a couple of years ago, and I had hibiscus tea over there. It was the best tea I've ever had. I mean, it just tasted so good. But it's actually very good for cholesterol levels. It's good for blood pressure. And it helps to relieve oxidative stress, which we'll talk about. It just keeps your body from aging. It has an anti-aging effect to it. So hibiscus tea is really big. Of course, echinacea. I think most people have heard of echinacea. Echinacea is an herb that's very important for the immune system, boosting the immune system and fighting off colds, common colds. If you start to get symptoms of a cold early on, if you start with echinacea tea and drinking that, a lot of times you can head off the symptoms and alleviate the symptoms so that the cold doesn't take off and become really bad if you start drinking it soon enough. So echinacea is very good for the immune system. Another tea that I had not actually even heard of is something called rooibos. It's spelled Rooibos. Rooibos tea is a South African tea, and it's very good for allergy effects. It's good for people who have allergies. It calms down allergic reactions. But it's also good for bone health too. It helps to cut down on bone deterioration. So it's good for people who maybe have osteoporosis, just helping their bones to stay strong. Okay, it may also help with lowering blood pressure too. So again, you see a tea with so many other benefits, so many multiple benefits, and they seemingly unrelated benefits, but they actually it actually works on a lot of different things. So the versatility of herbal teas is amazing. Sage is a very good herb for mental health. It's actually good for cognitive protection. Actually helps the brain, cognitive function be protected, and also can help for cholesterol as well. So they don't know, maybe that's something that down the road they might find and helps to prevent strokes even. So, but research is being done still on a lot of these teas. Just to see, because there's so many other things that they can do that we're not even aware of yet. So the research is continuing on as far as finding out what these benefits can be. Lemon balm tea is another good one for it improves something called arterial stiffness. When we get older, sometimes the arteries and the blood vessels in our bodies get stiff and they're not as compliant and they don't stretch like they should. They become very rigid. That can cause elevated blood pressure, can cause heart disease, but something like lemon balm tea will actually help to decrease that arterial stiffness and actually make the arteries more flexible, which in turn can lower blood pressure. If it helps with the blood vessels leading to the brain, it can help slow down mental decline because it just maintains circulation to the brain so that the brain is constantly getting enough oxygen, that it needs. Rose hips is another herbal tea that's very high in vitamin C. So again, sort of like echinacea is very important for the immune system because vitamin C helps to boost the immune system. It's also anti-inflammatory. It actually also help with arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. So if people have joint issues, they may want to think about drinking rose hips tea. And then finally, passion flower. In this day and age with everything going on, anxiety and poor sleep is on the rise. but passion flower along with chamomile can actually help you to relax and get to sleep and calm anxiety down. So passion flower is very important for stress reduction and helping people to feel better. So that's kind of my lineup of the teas specifically.
So we were able to find the robust tea. Rooibos, is it rooibos?
Rooibos, yeah, yeah.
So I found it at Wegmans.
Oh, good.
I haven't tried it yet because I needed to just remind myself of the other thing, the benefits that it does, because I
Uh-huh.
didn't want to set myself up for failure or something that I wasn't prepared for to happen.
Uh-huh.
Now, all of these teas that Dr. Halstead is talking about, I'm sure he's going to say it as well. I'm going to say it. Check with your doctor before taking some of these herbal teas, even though they taste good. Only you know and your doctor are going to know what's going to work best for you. So go ahead, Dr. Halstead.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because with the hibiscus tea in particular, if you take a fluid pill like a diuretic, you don't want to necessarily take hibiscus tea with a diuretic. So that's kind of one of the kind of contraindications there of an herbal tea with a medication. So that's one of them. Okay. Other than that, there's not really a whole bunch of other contraindications other than when we talk about children. Remember, we talked about how do you give children herbal tea?
Yes.
One of the rules of thumb is that for a child less than a year old, you don't give any herbal tea at all. Their systems are not geared for it. And a lot of times they may not even need it anyway, because most of the teas that you would give to a child have one of two purposes, either to help them with their digestion, like they might get a tummy ache after eating something or feel nauseated, or they're not sleeping well. So those are kind of like the two main indications for using an herbal tea or having an herbal tea for a child. But once the child's a year or more, between a year and 3 years of age, they can have chamomile for sleep, they can have ginger for nausea, and they can have lemon balm also. Okay, so those three types of tea are safe for a child from age 1 to 3. Once a child is above 4 years of age, then just about any herbal tea is safe in moderation. However, there are some teas that should never be given to children. Okay, echinacea is probably too strong for them as far as immune system. So echinacea is best reserved for teenagers or above, like for colds and things. St. John's wort is a herb that's used a lot for depression, and that really doesn't have any place for children. That's just too strong for them. Licorice is an herb that can cause blood pressure to go up. So you don't want to give that to children because that can cause them an adverse reaction with their blood pressure. Yeah. And then senna is an herb it's like a laxative herb. And that can be too strong for a child's GI tract, and that can hurt them. But any of the others, particularly things like lemon balm, peppermint, ginger, fennel, chamomile, the rooibos, those are all safe for children to use, and they're not really a danger to them. Of course, on the other side of the tea thing, we talked about black tea and green tea. You don't want to give those to children because they tend to have high caffeine content. You don't want to give a lot of caffeine to children. Certainly don't want to ever put like a lot of sugar in their tea because sugar is bad news for kids. You don't want to give kids a lot of sugar. Be mindful of the possibility that a child may have an allergy to an herb. Even though herbs are generally good for you, you can still have an allergy or a sensitivity to them. So you really want to monitor your kids closely if you give them that. Make sure they don't develop any kind of rash or GI symptoms or things that are suggestive of having an allergy. If they do, then that particular herbal tea is off limits for them. Never give that again. And also, of course, as Felicia alluded to, always check with a pediatrician if you have a child that has some sort of a pre-existing condition and you want to give them herbal tea. Make sure you check with their pediatrician to make sure it's safe for them to have that tea. Make sure it's not going to interact with their condition or any medication that they might be taking. So you always want to, we always talk about, well, natural treatments are great and they're 100% safe. That's not necessarily the case. you have to still be wise. You have to be careful about how you take these, because it's not so much that any one of these individual herbs is dangerous, but you have to think about interactions with other things that individual the child may be taking. In this case, the child might be taking, or any kind of condition that they might have that might be set off by these herbs. So you still have to be careful, even though they are natural substances. You have to be careful with how they're administered, and make sure if there's any doubt or any question that you always check with a pediatrician in the case of a child first. So those things are very, very important.
So, and in light of that, because that is some very good information, especially for our children and parents. And when we're talking about this, we don't want to scare you away from taking an herb or second guessing yourself in the aisle while you are trying to choose the right herbal tea for yourself. Only you know what works best for your body. You know how your body feels when you drink or ingest certain foods or certain teas. You know, we want you, our purpose for bringing our specialists on is because we want you to have presence of mind that you can have better health, you can take care of yourself. And also, you know, there are prescriptions out there sometimes, along with whatever. We're not saying don't take your prescription. We're not saying, okay, this is preventing lowering my blood pressure, so I don't have to take my blood pressure medicine. That is not what we are recommending. You must keep a good relationship with your primary care physician, along with exploring some other herbal teas or natural health elements to enhance your health. And do your research, do your due diligence about what works best for you. I am sure that there are things that you just heard today from Dr. Halstead that you have not heard before. And I've already heard his presentation, so I kept nodding my head like, yeah, this is good. I understand what this means now. But make sure that those of you that are listening, if you have questions, please send them to us. Also, if you are available on tomorrow at 2 o'clock, we will be able to sample all the teas that you just heard today. The lemon balm, you'll be able to sample hibiscus, the robus, is it rooibos?
Rooibos, yeah.
Rooibos. You'll be able to sample echinacea. You will be able to sample the ginger, the peppermint, all of those teas. If you come and join us tomorrow at 2, you'll be able to sample all of those. And I'm also opening the invitation up. If you have a church or a group and you want and you're in Harford County, we're not going we're not taking this on the road outside of Harford County. But if you're in Harford County, this is what we want to do. We want to bring health and wellness to you. We will do this program for you, and we will bring our resources. We will bring everything out. The only thing that you have to do is bring some people out. We want to share this information with as many people as possible. Right before I let Dr. Halstead go, because he's so wonderful, we're going to bring him back again because there's some other information. We're just sitting, this is just a little bit of information that he's sharing. And he's a walking medicinal encyclopedia. And we're going to be talking about diet. He's going to be like, no, I'm not, but you are. To us, you are very much so. When he talks about diabetes, when he talks about our salt sensitivities, we're going to bring him back on to be able to have him share his findings over the years about salt sensitivities, us as a culture in the Black and Brown community as well. My last announcement before we go, it is cervical Cancer Awareness Month. And I know we didn't put up the flyer, but I need you guys to go on the Harford County Health page and get information about cervical cancer awareness, okay? And the symptoms. Oh, here it is. Thank you, Faith. Thank you so much. This is why we have a team, because they are on it. Faith is on it. Thank you. So get screened. Don't just think of it as, oh, it's just one more thing I got to worry about. Let me tell you something. we want you to live. There are people that love you, they care about you. And this is self care. Take care of yourself, and see if, for some reason, if your insurance doesn't cover it, you may be eligible for a free breast and cervical screening. Call the number. Do it for you, do it for your family, do it for your loved ones. This is Upper Chesapeake Health Medical Center. And they also have an event coming up next month that we're going to talk about next week, that you can sign up for free. We're coming to you, and we're going to delve into the topic of breast cancer awareness. We're going to delve into cervical cancer awareness. So please keep updated with us. We're only going up from here. We're only going to continue to get better at what we're doing on this platform from here. We're going to continue to bring out fabulous speakers like Dr. Halstead and others with special health topics. So, Dr. Halstead, again, thank you so much. We love you with the Harford County Health Department. We can't get enough of you and your beautiful wife, Dr. Loretta Halstead. They are hidden gems out here in Harford County. Reach out to them. You can find his information. We can, if you need his information, please reach out to us, and we will make sure that you get in contact with our resident doctor, Dr. Philip Halstead. So this is all for this evening. This is Community Connections Foundation Talk Show, where we are breaking barriers, building bridges, and we are sharing resources. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next time.
Good night.